What's this? A letter for me.
Welcome to another episode of Remember the Great Sports Through the Mail Thursdays. Today I'm going to share with you 3 returns that I recently got back in the mail from players that signed for me, and I'm going to tell you about their careers and their profiles. So let's just jump right into this first one that is postmarked from Texas, and as you saw from the intro, this is a Indianapolis Colts themed video, and the first return is from Fred with 2 D's Young on 1, 2, 3, and 4. 2 of them featuring him as a member of the Colts, and 2 of him being featured as a member of the Seahawks. Unfortunately, Fred signed these in ballpoint pen, so it's very difficult to kind of see these 2 right here, but they are signed. But you can see right there in ballpoint and there in ballpoint that they are signed. So if you are going to write Fred, you might want to consider sending a Sharpie, because not only will that benefit you, but it might benefit some others in the hobby as well. So let me tell you about Fred Young and his career in football. Fred Young grew up in Texas and attended high school in Texas, the same high school that actually featured future Hall of Famer and Heisman Trophy winner Tim Brown was the same high school that Fred went to. Fred went to college at New Mexico State University, and he was selected in the 3rd round of the 1984 draft by the Seattle Seahawks. Fred made an immediate impact with the Seahawks. His first year he appeared in 16 games, and he would make his first Pro Bowl as a rookie in 1984. Well, Fred would be known as a very hard hitter as a linebacker, and he would make 4 consecutive Pro Bowl appearances from 1984 to 1987, being a stalwart on the special teams and as a linebacker in the Seahawks backfield. Despite the success in Seattle, after the 1987 season, the Seahawks decided to trade Fred to the Indianapolis Colts for future draft picks. Well, his first year in Indianapolis, he appeared in 15 games. However, he was hampered by some injuries while he was in Indianapolis, and he just never could get his form back to that Pro Bowl level that he was playing at with the Seahawks. By the end of the 1990 season, Fred was 29 years old, and that he called it quits as a player and hung up his cleats and retired as a player from the Colts. In total, Fred appeared in 101 games for both the Seahawks and the Indianapolis Colts. He appeared in 1 more season with the Seahawks. However, he has gone down as one of the best Seahawks in history because of those 4 consecutive Pro Bowls that he appeared in. So, very happy to add Fred to the collection. Never had gotten him before, so we'll move on to the next one, and we'll talk about the next Indianapolis Colt great. Alright, so this next one is postmarked from Indianapolis, and this is a return from former Colts great Bill Brooks on 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let me tell you about Bill Brooks and his career in football. Right to start, there are 2 Bill Brooks that played in the NFL. Do not confuse this one with the one that played in the 1970s that went by the name Billy Brooks. 2 different people, completely different persons, so don't go out and buy cards of Billy Brooks, because that's not this Bill Brooks. Brooks, a Massachusetts native, played his high school ball in Massachusetts, and later went on to play at Boston University for his collegiate career. He was selected in the 4th round of the 1986 NFL Draft by the Indianapolis Colts. Well, to say the least, 1986, Bill came onto the scene right away, as he played in 16 games for the Colts, and he caught for over 1,100 yards his rookie season in 1986 at just 22 years old. For some reason, he was not Rookie of the Year, and instead running back Reuben Mays got Rookie of the Year that year. Reuben had over 1,300 yards rushing, where Bill had 1,100 yards receiving. So I guess take your pick on which one should have been Rookie of the Year, but Bill definitely made a strong case for Rookie of the Year status that year. Well, the following year, at 23, he would not get 1,100 yards. Instead, he would get 722 in receptions. And Bill would continue to be the staple of the Indianapolis Colts receiving corps from basically 1986 to 1992. After the 92 season, he would join the Buffalo Bills, and he would get to play in his first Super Bowl as he became a wide receiver for the Bills that season. After 3 seasons with Buffalo in 1996, he would sign to play wide receiver with the Washington Redskins. After the 96 season concluded, Brooks decided to retire as a player, and he finished with 583 receptions with 8,001 yards with 46 touchdowns over his career as a wide receiver, primarily with the Indianapolis Colts. He also, during his career, was awarded the Whizzer White NFL Man of the Year Award, which was renamed Alan Page Man of the Year Award in 1996 for his contributions working with nonprofits. In 1998, just 2 years after his retirement, he was selected to be in the Indianapolis Colts Ring of Honor. A few years later, starting in 2002, Bill would become a front office administrator for the Colts, where he would hold that position through 2009. So I'm not really sure what Bill's doing now. Maybe he's still working with the Colts in some capacity, being he still lives in Indianapolis. But very happy to add Bill to the collection because I'd never gotten him before. And this is, again, probably a victim of this guy played during the era of Jerry Rice, Tim Brown that I mentioned earlier in this video, Sterling Sharp, Art Monk, James Lofton, on down the list, and Henry Ellard. I can go on and on. And the Colts just weren't a really good team at that time, so he kind of fell between the cracks of a good wide receiver because there were so many other great wide receivers that were playing during his era. But if you look at his numbers, they match up pretty strongly against some of those other guys. I mean, not Jerry Rice numbers or anything like that, but some of those other names, he's right up there in that, on that list of good receivers from the 1980s and 90s. So we'll move on to the next one and talk about them. All right, this next one is postmarked from Nevada, and I have written this person before, but we're going to feature him again on my channel. And it is a return from possibly one of the best Colts offensive linemen in the history of their franchise, Mr. George Kunz, on 404, including the nice Wonder Bread card there. So let me tell you about George Kunz and his career in football. Originally born in Illinois, Kunz relocated to California where he played his high school football. He was heavily recruited out of California and chose to go to Notre Dame for his collegiate football. Kunz was selected in the 1969 draft with the 2nd overall pick by the Atlanta Falcons, after being a consensus first-team All-American while at Notre Dame. After spending the 1969 through 74 seasons with the Falcons, Kunz was traded to the Colts for first-round pick that eventually would be used to select Steve Bartkowski. Kunz would continue his dominance at tackle for the Indianapolis Colts. He would play through the 1980 season with the Colts. By the time everything was said and done, Kunz had played in 129 games, starting 126 of them, became a 7-time Pro Bowler, a 3-time First Pro All-Pro, and of course, like I mentioned, an All-American in college. And this is, one of those people that, again, how's this guy not in the Hall of Fame? He was a 7-time Pro Bowler. He was considered one of the best at his position, offensive lineman, tackle, and yet he's still not enshrined in Canton. This is somebody that I think could seriously be considered to be in the Canton Football Hall of Fame. Well, uniquely, after Kunz retired from football, he finished up a law degree and he actually became an attorney. And As of right now, I'm not sure if he's retired because he's in his mid-70s now, but he is a practicing attorney in Las Vegas, Nevada. So very neat that after the long pro career that Kunz had in the NFL, he went on to go to law school and finish his law degree and become an attorney for many years. Obviously, if he's in Las Vegas, he must make pretty good money being an attorney out there. So I want to thank Mr. Kunz. You know, like I said, I really hope one day he gets in the Hall of Fame because I really think he deserves it. I also want to, thank Mr. Bill Brooks here, who was one of the best wide receivers in Colts history. And I also want to thank Mr. Fred Young, who was one of the best Seattle Seahawks. But once he got to, the Colts, his career kind of turned around the other way. And unfortunately, it wasn't the Pro Bowl level that he was with the Seahawks. But I want to thank all three of these guys for signing for me. I want to thank you especially for taking the time to watch another episode, learning about some NFL players from the past. If you're a Colts fan, definitely give me a comment down below. Even if you're not a Colts fan, tell me what you thought of the video. And as always, happy collecting.